is nothing more important than learning about ourselves and our family history. And today we are so excited to welcome back senior family historian for Ancestry, Michelle Ercanbrack. And Michelle is sharing about our very own Kym Douglas's family history findings. And we are thrilled to have Kym's beautiful mom, Barbara, very handsome Hunter joining us as well. Welcome, everybody. Look at that. Kym, what a beautiful family. Michelle, thank you for being back.
So thrilled to be
We're going to jump right in, Kym. I think this is especially poignant because obviously after beating cancer, it's given you such a new perspective on life. You and I have talked about that for sure. It's also really kind of piqued your curiosity to dive deeper into your family history, hasn't it?
It's true. It really has. You know, there's something about that kind of when you get faced a little bit with a life and death situation where you just go, wow, I really want to know my roots and where I came from and a little bit further than just, you know, my mom or my grandparents. So this has been such a blessing.
And I know, Hunter, your mom's been kind of talking to you about learning about your heritage and your Scottish heritage.
Yes.
Since you were little, right?
Since I was little. You know, I was in a kilt, so I don't know if that is something that you guys know about, but as a kid, she put me in a dress.
No, it was a skirt. It was a kilt.
But it was
I
to
was
get back
sort of
to my roots.
expecting you to wear it today, man. I mean, you know.
Kim, we could have matched.
Okay, all right, I know.
But yeah, so that's always been something that I've thought about, and have my grandma as well, just appreciating the rich heritage that we have as a family.
Yeah, and Barbara, I know that you have such fond memories when you think about Kilsyth, Scotland, which is your hometown, don't you? When I say that, Kilsyth, what comes to mind? What do you remember most?
Well, I was born there and raised there and met my husband there in church, and
You were how old?
16.
16 when you met Dad.
When you met him.
Yeah,
Oh,
and we dated for 6.5 years.
oh, that's beautiful. And I know one of the things that you loved about him is he was quite musical, wasn't he? He played in a band.
Yeah, he played the guitar
He did.
Band.
in the church band.
Look at this photo.
There he
It's
is right there.
beautiful.
The far right.
That's right, honey.
Wow, that is amazing. And now, Michelle, I know you actually discovered quite a lot. You know, tell us a little bit about what you found out.
So I want to start with your father's first cousin.
Okay.
His name was Archibald Miller Bankier, and he was a leading aircraft man in the Royal Air Force.
Oh, I love that.
So he served as part of a bomber squadron in North Africa during World War II. And on a mission behind enemy lines, he and 5 other soldiers were killed. And on Ancestry, we found his headstone and the index that shows the cemetery where he was buried in North Africa.
You're kidding.
And we just thought it was so neat that we were able to find.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Michelle, what,
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
Wow.
and especially sort of pointing today on Veterans Day to share that information. Obviously, that's amazing.
Wow, I had no idea.
No
Did
idea.
you?
No, I didn't know either.
Wow. There it is.
There it is.
Miller
And the
Bankier.
information just keeps coming. We've learned, obviously, a little bit from your father's side of the family, but what about from Kym's mom's side of the family, from Barbara's
Right.
side?
So Barbara, we learned some things about your grandfather, whose name was Alexander McBain.
That's right. My middle name's McBain.
Is it? Okay. So Alexander grew up working in the quarries in Kilsyth.
Yeah, in the quarries.
And as he was a worker as a teenager, and as he, through hard work and enterprise, he managed to become the manager of the Croy Quarry. So
Roy, that brings memories.
yeah, your grandfather was the manager there. So you've got hard work and enterprise in your family.
And guess what? Hunter's in business at USC, and
Wow.
he's going into business, so maybe that's where he gets it from.
Runs in the family.
Yeah.
I love just watching the reactions in their faces.
I
It's
know.
so fun.
I feel like it's my family
I
over here. I'm
know.
getting
It's
so
beautiful.
invested.
It's so beautiful, for sure.
So cool, Michelle.
So we also found a little bit of mischief.
Oh, well, that wasn't from our side, definitely.
So your great-grandmother, her name was Susan Gibb, and she was fined for trafficking liquor without a license.
Oh my gosh.
I always
Now
found
we
troublemaker.
know, exactly. It wasn't Hunter in college. It wasn't me. It's Mom.
Well, let me ask you, Barbara, was Kym ever a little bit of a troublemaker?
Oh, no, never.
Thank you, Mom. later. Oh my
never.
gosh, do we have to show? I look like those weird things like from Dumb and Dumber. Like those really weird.
We're adorable.
You pulled it off. You pulled it
Bangs
off.
that short.
I don't know, honey. I can't remember yet.
And now, Michelle, there was something else you learned about education and how important it was through all the generations.
Right. So, Hunter, we found that your third great grandparents, their names were Archibald and Rose Barton. And
right.
Archibald was killed in an accident in a quarry. And Rose, finding herself a single mother of 8 children, had a choice to make. And so we found the 1871 census of the family. And it shows that Rose, as a single mom, was working as a shopkeeper and a grocer. And all of the children were still in school. Now, this was so significant to us because really, in those days, it wouldn't have been surprising if many of the kids would have been pulled into the mine.
Wow.
And because through her hard work, tenacity, and desire to keep her kids in school, her son became a collier clerk. Her daughter, your grandmother, was a teacher.
That's right.
And it traces from father to you right down Hunter. So we see how this one woman's decision in the face of hardship, in the face of loss, made a choice to help give her children opportunity and education that you can see the echoes of through time.
Wow. So cool.
Her grandmother's name was Betsy Barton.
Betsy Barton.
Elizabeth.
Right.
Barton.
Right. And she was the teacher. Right.
She was a school teacher.
That's right.
Wow. There's always been such strong, amazing women in your family.
Yes.
Kym, I know it's touching to you too because obviously you're wanting that just for Hunter as well, and
Yeah.
clearly, and has succeeded in that in schooling and education.
I love that. Just it brings home like the importance of family and keeping together your family at all costs, no matter what. And I can't imagine her being, a single mother of 8 kids. My goodness, in those days it must have been.
Formidable.
Yeah.
But she did it.
Yeah.
And you guys are the beneficiaries of that.
Yeah, we sure are.
Hunter in particular.
Michelle,
Now you're graduating from USC very shortly. I mean, this is a big deal. So, and after you graduate, I understand that you've got a trip to Scotland already planned out. So now that you've got a little bit of new information about your family heritage, will you look to incorporate some of this new information into your trip?
Definitely. I think it just gives me so much more perspective, and I'm going to be able to go to the quarries and kind of see where my ancestors walked and be there. So I think it's so important to, at this stage of my life, kind of look back at where I've been to figure out where I'm going to go and who I'm going to become. So it's so great kind of
It's amazing. Good
Wow.
for you.
I mean, we've learned so much just sitting here about you, Kym, and your whole family. And the holidays are such a wonderful time to have meaningful conversations like this. It just feels so good, right, Michelle?
Yes.
It does.
No, it really is the perfect time to have these conversations. And thank you so much for bringing your family because I
my
think
goodness.
this is what people are going to be doing. Whether
It's
it's
true.
with Veterans Day or all of the holiday family dinners around the corner, we're going to be sitting down with family. And discovering family stories is the quickest and most meaningful way to find common ground and connection with the people that you love.
It's so true.
And anyone can have that, whether it's through building a tree on Ancestry or taking an Ancestry DNA test.
Yeah.
You can find something new to share with your family over the holidays. And as a surprise early Christmas present, we're going to send the 3 of you home with an Ancestry DNA test.
Oh my God.
So that you can test mom and see which pieces of her DNA you've inherited.
Oh my God.
That's great.
We don't do this enough.
No,
We don't
it's one of my
talk to
favorite
each other.
things. Yeah.
But just finding out your own history and your stories and talking to each other face to face, this is amazing.
You're absolutely right, Lewis. And I want to ask Kym, Barbara, Hunter, just before we head off, just tell us, what was it like to hear all that? How did that feel? What came to you?
Yeah, you that's your direct line.
Oh, I loved it.
Brought back some
Sit here
memories?
with my grandson and my daughter. Oh, it's wonderful.
There's just nothing more important than that. And I do think that even in the best of situations and families, I think we get so caught up in our phones. You know me.
Do you, Kym? Really?
There is that one little issue. And, this really hit home for me because it is so true to just sit and connect and just, talk about your heritage. And for Hunter, I just want so much for him to know that he comes from such a rich line of family
we
that
say
love
in
him.
Scotland, good stock.
Good stuff. But I love seeing you get a little emotional there, because when I had the opportunity to go through this myself, it's funny, it's interesting how, you know, how important it is to have the conversation, but also what it triggers inside of you to really kind of connect with that lineage, with that history. It meant a lot to me, and I love seeing it really kind of trigger your heart as well. Thank you so much, Michelle, Kym, Barbara, Hunter, for all being here, guys. And I'd like to invite you all at home to have these conversations with your own families, and go to Ancestry.com to save big with special holiday pricing. Check it out, everybody.